Hi, this is Emily of Beauties and Headcanons. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media.
How's it going, everybody? This is Keith.
And Katie, host of Coffee with Keith and Katie, here on Public House Media.
Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media. When you're done here, I hope you'll check out our show, Coffee with Keith and Katie,
where we talk about our lives and relationship over a cup of coffee.
A new episode airs on Facebook Live every Monday and Thursday at 7:30 p.m. Don't forget to subscribe on iTunes so you'll never miss an episode of Coffee with Keith and Katie.
Thanks again for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
Last time on the Gregg and Dave Show.
This is a best of the Gregg and Dave Show. No calls will be taken.
And no craps will be given.
Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Go directly to the best of the Gregg and Dave Show.
Do not pass gas as you pass the studio. It already smells bad enough with all those dead birds we got laying around. Oh, jeez, we didn't even think about those dead birds from that iPhone store. Oh, my gosh.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, the humidity.
It's time for the Gregg and Dave Show.
And there's the segment that's getting us kicked off the air this week.
Featuring Greg Wattsnyder.
I had to say, touch my monkey.
And David Bobkey.
Peaches and Broth was the Bob Geldof cover band that Greg and I were in.
Bravely bringing you the stories of the strange.
One thing I'm really good at is eating tacos.
I get quite a pain in my butt that falls asleep. And her name is Mrs. Bale.
Dave wants to eat muddy cheese.
Now sit back and enjoy the show.
Dave Show, I've done some stupid things in my life.
No!
Hello and welcome to, would you call this a special edition of the Gregg and Dave Show?
I think we could.
I am the Greg.
And I am Dave Show.
Dave Show, would you call us special? But there are probably people who would call us that, as well as other things. But would you call this a sort of special edition of the show?
I would. I was going to say it's maybe a best of edition, but I don't know that we have such a thing.
Right. Maybe a worst of edition.
Yeah. Yeah. Not as many dead birds as last week, thankfully, but I was talking with our Grand and Supreme Ruler and Overlord Baxter about maybe doing a best of Mrs. Bale show. And then I realized, well, what good is a 30-second podcast? So,
yes.
So much for that idea.
Dave Show, we've got stories.
We do have stories. It's the band Stories, and they're going to be performing Brother Louie for... What? Oh, that got canceled? Okay, well, never mind then.
So, Dave Show, we like to talk a lot about food on the show. A lot about food. I mean, we like to talk about dead birds, too. But, you know...
I don't know that we like to talk about dead birds, but keeps coming up.
Wouldn't it suck if you had to only eat one or two things for the rest of your life?
Oh, yeah. Gee, you know, Greg, that reminds me of a story we talked about back in episode 11.
Do they make peach-flavored soft drinks? Have you ever had a peach-flavored anything?
Yeah, actually, at some of the finer dining establishments now, like Noodles or Wendy's, they have soda machines where you can actually have a peach flavoring added to your beverage.
Yeah.
So you can get like peach Coca-Cola or peach Mellow Yellow yeah, I've actually enjoyed a few peach beverages that way.
Dave, I'm fond of the flavor of peach. Are you?
I like a good peach flavor now and then.
Right. Dave Show, who is maybe too fond of peaches because they're too good.
Well, we do have a peaches-related story, and this story comes to us from our lovely friends at Mother Nature Network online, MNN.com. Very interesting story that I've been seeing a couple places online. It says, this little boy can only eat peaches, and he needs your help. This poor kid can eat nothing but peaches. I mean, we hear about allergic reactions because somebody's allergic to peanuts, or I believe, if I'm not mistaken, our good friend Baxter, our supreme ruler and overlord here at Public House Media, is allergic to apricots and I think possibly peaches. Although I can't remember for sure.
Right.
And we've talked about allergies on the show before, and that sucks. But man, this kid can only eat peaches.
And can only eat a certain type of peaches.
That's true.
Right, Dave Show?
That's true. I'll jump into the article here. If you could only eat one kind of food for the rest of your life, it would be hard to go wrong with the humble yet delicious peach. The trouble, of course, arises when you realize that's it. One food, every meal, every day, peach, everything. Not so warm and fuzzy now, is it? Is it, the Gregg?
It is not. It's still fuzzy, but I don't know how warm it is.
I dare say it's the pits. But it...
Wow.
Yeah. Thank you, Mrs. Bale. But it gets even worse for a young boy from Montreal, Canada. Worse than that joke I just laid down. A young man named Micah. He has hardly known any other kind of food in his life, and straying from a diet of peaches could kill him. Micah was just 2 years old when he was diagnosed with a debilitating disorder called food protein-induced enterocolitis syndrome, or FPIES, apparently is the...
I was going to say, how is that abbreviated, Dave Show?
It is FPIES, or FPIES if you prefer.
FPIES.
FPIES. A severe food allergy, it leaves him violently intolerant to virtually every kind of food, even his mother's milk. I cannot imagine going through this. I mean, even just being stuck with one food myself is about impossible to imagine. I can't imagine having a kid I can only feed one thing to.
Now, I've been asked this question. I've been asked, so Gregg, if you can eat one food for the rest of your life, what would it be? And my response is always pizza. Mm-hmm. But I think I'd even get sick of pizza after a while.
Yeah. I mean, it depends, too, if you can have different kinds of pizza.
Right.
I mean, would those little candy pizzas count as pizza or not? I'm guessing not.
Yeah, that's true.
So, I don't know. It depends how you want to twist it.
I didn't know they made candy pizzas.
Oh, yeah, somebody does somewhere. There's candy everything out there these days.
Right.
Story goes on to say, even peaches themselves, his sole safe food, can be a prickly proposition. He can't eat them frozen, nor canned, nor dried, because they may contain additives. They also have to be organic. Pesticides would cue the same old nightmare all over again. The trouble is, fresh organic peaches aren't always plentiful, nor are they cheap.
Right.
Quote here, "We are buying peaches in bulk and are running out of funds to do so, as we also have to pay for his complex medical needs." I think this is his dad here. Says Mason, who stays home to care for Micah and his two older brothers. And they have a GoFundMe going, so people can go look for that.
Right.
And, of course, we'll post a link on the Gregg and Dave Show Facebook page at facebook.com/Gregg Dave Show if you want to see more about this story.
Because, I mean, you want to help this poor kid, right? You know? Let him eat the only thing he can eat.
Yeah.
Which is peaches. Now, did not the story say that they're also trying some sort of broth?
Yeah, they say Micah's family is experimenting with rabbit broth as a possible safe food. Seems to be going well, but after 2 weeks, he is only getting about half teaspoon worth a day. Not much. Not enough to substitute for a meal, certainly.
So peaches and broth. I don't know if that is a diet I see myself on anytime soon.
No, but oddly enough, Peaches and Broth was the Bob Geldof cover band that Gregg and I were in once upon a time. The Gregg and I were in once upon a time.
Yes.
I keep forgetting to add the. It's like royalty. I should be calling you the Gregg every time. And yet here I am like a schmuck. Boy, I'll tell you though, the Gregg, that was some story about that kid who could only eat peaches. I have to tell you, too, that story had my very favorite line that I ever said on the show about that Peaches and Broth being our Bob Geldof cover band. I know nobody else listening got that joke, but trust me, it was really, really funny.
Dave Show, I still don't know who Bob Geldof is.
Oh, for the love of everything good and sacred.
Yeah.
Well, you know who Baxter is, right?
I do.
Our Grand Supreme Ruler and Overlord. We have a quick little piece that we did with our good friend and the ruler, and so on and so forth, of Public House Media, Baxter, who is allergic to things like peaches, apricots, things of that nature.
Allergic to everything good, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. Except his lovely wife, Liz, who is, of course, lovely, and is a peach herself, some would say. But we have an interview here with Baxter. And, hello, Baxter.
Hello, Dave.
Aren't you allergic to peaches and apricots?
Yes, I am. It's terrible.
I'll bet it's terrible. Don't you wish you could eat peaches and apricots?
Yes, I wish I could eat them all day long. I wouldn't do anything else.
Well, that's great. Thanks for stopping by, Baxter.
You said you were going to pay me.
No, I never said that. Go away. Okay.
Dave Show, besides for my love of peaches, and by the way, I'm very, very sorry for those of you who are allergic to peaches, and besides for my love of peanuts, and I'm not sorry that I just have offended everyone with peanut allergies, I love myself some cotton candy. Except there's one slight problem with my love of cotton candy, and it comes up in this next segment.
Yes, hearkening back to our very first episode on Public House Media, the cotton candy burrito. Comes to us from ABC 15 in Arizona.
Oh yes, lovely ABC 15.
Lovely ABC 15. Now, Greg, you're a fan of the State Fair, are you not?
I am a fan of the State Fair. Yes.
Any
yes.
particular foods that you like down there?
Oh man, all of them. Like everything. Like if I could just eat one of everything. If I could tour the state fairs and just eat one of everything, well, I would have diabetes, which I already have. But I would also be...
You'd have double diabetes.
I'd have double diabetes. Yeah. So I do like my state fair foods. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Well... Now, I don't know how much the Wisconsin State Fair changes up the menu from year to year, because admittedly, it's been a while since I've been there.
How many years has it been, Dave?
That's a good question. That'll be our trivia question for the week. How many years has it been since I have no idea? It's been probably more than 10, I would say.
Okay.
That's a safe
okay.
bet. So,
From what you remember, what's your favorite State Fair food?
The funnel cakes.
The funnel cakes, yes.
Funnel cakes. That is also the only menu item that I remember.
Yep.
So it's kind of a default.
That's a pretty good one to remember.
Pretty much. I know the Illinois State Fair changes up their menu quite a bit. A lot of different items down there, like fried Kool-Aid balls and deep-fried peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, which I've heard are not bad. A little bit of cream cheese? I think it's cream cheese.
You know what's really good?
What's that?
Is chocolate-covered bacon.
Oh, yeah.
I love me some chocolate-covered bacon.
Great things put together. I mean, what more could you possibly want?
Right.
I'll tell you what you could not possibly want, and that is the item we're about to talk about here. Again, from abc15.com. The story reads, sink your teeth into the unicorn treat taking over the Arizona State Fair. The owner of Sally's Ice Cream is bringing the Candy Rito to hungry tummies for the first time this year. It begins as 2 fluffs of cotton candy pressed and flattened to resemble a tortilla.
Okay.
Which, first of all, I mean, you've got to have some thick cotton candy, I feel like, if you're going to make a tortilla shell out of them. I mean, the cotton candy I have is pretty fluffy, and I don't know if that's just a difference in how the cotton candy gets made different places, but you're making a tortilla shell, man. That's got to be some pretty thick cotton candy you got to work through there.
Yeah, I'd say that's some pretty thick cotton candy.
Yeah.
Yes. That could leave you with a few less teeth if you weren't careful.
Oh, absolutely. Then says 3 whopping fist-sized scoops of birthday cake ice cream are plopped into the middle.
Now that I can live with.
That I could live with as well. Birthday cake ice cream is fantastic. It says it's plopped into the middle and then wrapped up as tight as can be, which seems like very true writing. How tightly can you wrap ice cream in cotton candy? I'm guessing not that much, although, you know what, they do have a video here. It actually looks like it's pretty secure, and it looks like... I describe it for listeners who haven't seen this, and if you want to see it, listeners, abc15.com, just look up cotton candy burrito, and you will be able to find that. But basically, yeah, it looks like a burrito, I guess. Usually a burrito, everything in there, the meat, the vegetables, whatever, is kind of mashed down a little bit.
Right.
Here, the ice cream has kind of maintained its spherical nature.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it was actually larger than I thought. I went to a place in Milwaukee, not that we're plugging, but, screw it, called Burrito Bueno, where I had a burrito about the size of my head.
Wow.
This thing looks like it's almost that big.
Wow.
That's a lot of cotton candy and ice cream.
Yes. It would be funny if they placed that booth right next to, like, the diabetes prevention booth.
Oh, absolutely.
That's the second time we've mentioned diabetes on this show, by the way. Today.
That's a good omen, though.
Do you know what I found funny, just going off on the diabetes thing a little bit? So I am...
I'm guessing nothing I said, but go ahead.
There was a group on campus for a while. It happened to be a sorority. I'm not going to mention which one. But they were selling candygrams a couple years ago when their philanthropy was diabetes. Mm-hmm. And I said, wait, what's up with that? Candygrams for diabetes? Mm-hmm. Which seems little, like things that make you go, But they raised a lot of money, so it was good.
It is good. It's good, if not a bit misguided, perhaps.
Right.
Very good.
So this cotton candy thing, are we going to find it at our local Taco Bell anytime soon?
There's no word of it going anywhere to Taco Bell. I have a feeling it's going to disappear immediately after the state fair, and I'll tll you why. Number one, I happen to know at the Illinois State Fair they had fried butter, which was discontinued after about 2 days because apparently that experiment did not work well. Imagine that. And two, I sent this story to somebody, an acquaintance of mine, who actually works at ABC 15. No joke.
Okay.
He has not responded. He has said nothing about this. I don't think he wants to admit that this thing exists.
Yeah. I may need to make a trip to the Arizona State Fair. That's what I've learned from all this. State fairs just have it going on as far as food. If you want good food, people, go to a state fair.
Well,
can I also say the other thing that's surprising to me about this story is what is the dateline of this? When was this?
Dateline on this is October 5th.
So they must have their state fair quite late in the year.
Yeah.
So it's a fall state fair. So that's kind of cool. Of course, in Arizona, it's always hot.
Sure. Yeah, I have a friend who lives down there. Different from the ABC 15 guy, but yeah, he said it's pretty hot, like all the dang time.
Yeah.
So
that should be their state.
It makes sense. It does make sense.
That should be their state motto. Welcome to Arizona. It's hot here.
All the dang time.
And we have cacti. A potato flew around the room when you walked in. I know. They told me, the producers of this great show told me to stop singing. But I can't stop singing about potatoes, Dave Show.
I wonder why that is. There's a potato that has an iPhone. That's not a thing. That's not a thing at all. I don't know why I said that. That was just terrible. This is Bale. Can you cut that out? That's definitely not a best of. That wasn't even a joke. I don't even know what that was. I have never wanted to delve into a story more than this story.
You are so excited about this story. You were so excited.
Oh my gosh. The note, I think I had a little note when I emailed this link to you, and I was like, oh my gosh. Oh, okay. Taking a break, settling down, collecting myself.
Take a breath, Dave Show.
Here we go. This is from the dailymail.co.uk. There are several other publications out there that you can check out that have covered this story, including YouTube, which we'll get to in a moment. This is actually based out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Straight from Milwaukee.
Straight from the streets of Milwaukee, yo. And the headline is, Black Friday? Woman duped into shelling out $100 for a box full of potatoes that she thought was an iPhone.
You say potato, I say potato, Dave Show.
I say a waste of money, but here's the story for you. A Milwaukee woman trying to get a head start on the Christmas shopping season paid $100 for a box of potatoes, which she thought was an iPhone. Now, this paragraph right here, folks listening in, I gotta clue you in. This is just a paragraph full of nope. So many things that are so wrong.
Yes. It's like that sentence in a class I had in elementary school called Daily Oral Language. What's wrong with this sentence? And there are like 7 things that you have to pick out that are wrong. That's this next paragraph of the story.
That's exactly it. Here we go. The scam was perpetrated by a man driving around her neighborhood in a black truck with balloons. Right there, spoiler alert, that's problem number 1.
Okay.
I mean, maybe if you're going to or coming back from a prom or something, I guess I could understand balloons sticking out of your truck.
Right.
But a black truck with balloons and a sign taped to it, which read...
Problem number 2 or 3.
Problem number 2, sign taped to it, which read Black Friday sale. What part of this makes anyone think, oh, this is a reliable place to purchase electronics?
This seems like a reputable place, go Black Friday shopping. Well, maybe she wanted to avoid the stores.
I'm just wondering how you can just... collecting myself, deep breath. What makes somebody think that this is a good place to buy anything? Anything at all. If I go out in a car with like a white piece of paper slapped on to the side of the car that says, even better buy, because it's not Best Buy, it's even better buy.
Right.
Are people going to be flocking to my car to buy my useless crap? Maybe I should try that.
Maybe you should, Dave Show.
I do have a lot of useless crap to give away. But anyway, we're only 2 paragraphs in here. The unnamed woman, which, by the way, she does have a name. No one's releasing it.
Right.
Just to be clear, everybody's got a name. The unnamed woman, who uploaded a video onto LiveLeak telling her story, said she made sure the man tested the phone to see if it worked.
First of all, what's LiveLeak? I've never heard of this.
LiveLeak is a website, apparently, liveleak.com. I have never been.
That website is not being endorsed by the Gregg and Dave Show.
Not until we see something better.
Right.
So, tested the phone to see if it worked. After she agreed to buy the phone, she took what she thought was the box with the iPhone in it and went home. But when she got home, she was shocked. Shocked, Mrs. Bale.
Shocked
to discover that the box was filled with potatoes. Now, to be accurate here, this is a little bit misleading.
Yes.
It's 1 potato that's cut up. It's not like she came home with 15 potatoes.
Right.
But there is a picture here of the box and the cut up potatoes. So, it probably weighs about the same as an iPhone, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And they have quotes from her here saying,
I mean, they have everything on the truck you can name. Clothes, shoes, purses, watches, bundles of hair, DVDs, CDs, everything. Phones, laptops.
So this is a big truck, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
This has got to be a huge truck with all of this stuff in it.
Right.
So I asked the guy about the iPhone 6, and he's like,
oh yeah, today I give it to you for $100. So he hands me an iPhone 6. I'm playing with it. I'm turning it around, checking it. I asked him to call the phone. He showed me the number. I'm like, okay, cool. It's legit. It's ringing. It's working. I want it.
And that's where she made her horrible mistake.
He turns around. He put the phone in a box attached with this paper. Hands it to me. I hands him the money. I get in my car. I go home.
Now, before I get too far into this paragraph, I should note there is some explicit language in the next few paragraphs.
Yes.
So I will replace the offensive word, which we definitely cannot say on Public House Media,
with the word cupcake.
Yeah, even if I could, I wouldn't. So yes, I think we should use a substitute word. I think cupcake is a good word. Let's go with that.
Right.
Okay. I sit at my kitchen table about to play with the phone.
And the box is heavy, y'all. I get home.
Cupcake.
Sold me a box of potatoes. A box of potatoes for $100. This
Cupcake.
Gave me 1, 2, 3.
She counts up the cut up potatoes, basically.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, we got to count them up.
Yeah, you got to make sure you know exactly how many pieces of potato.
Right.
To add insult to injury, the woman found an Android charger in the box, which is incompatible with the iPhone.
Or the potatoes.
Thank you. Yes, that's exactly what my mom said. I told her this story. She said the exact same thing. I was like, you know what? That's an excellent point.
Coming up next week on the Gregg and Dave Show, we'll have a story about potatoes that are electrically charged.
Next week on the Gregg and Dave's Mom Show. Because, you guys are like right on. Goodness me. Anyways, so despite some of the YouTube videos that say you can charge an iPhone with a potato, as far as I know, that's not accurate.
Right.
At least in and of itself. I mean, maybe you can do something with a potato. Anyway, what the heck am I supposed to do with this? I am so hurt right now. I'm going to have to go to jail. I'm going to go outside, and I'm going to find these old cupcakes. What am I supposed to do?
Have to go to jail. She's going to have to go to jail.
She wraps it up with, what am I supposed to do with, oh, you almost made me cuss. Like dropping the cupcakes word was perfectly okay.
Right.
My goodness, the Gregg.
Yes, Dave Show.
Oh, this story.
Oh, my
goodness.
goodness.
Where do we start with this story? First of all, anybody that's thinking about buying anything at all ever from a black truck with a sign taped to it, you're asking for trouble. You may as well just hand over your entire wallet, give them the keys to your car and your house.
I've got a perfect job for this guy, and it's not selling potatoes out of his truck, cut up potatoes, might I add. He's a magician, really. I mean, if you can make potatoes appear out of a box that supposedly has an iPhone in it, this guy is like the best magician ever, and he should go to magic school.
Yeah, the only time I've seen a magic trick of this level with a potato was Penn and Teller doing the old cups and balls trick.
Okay.
Cups and balls, and then right at the end, they snuck a potato in there. It's a good trick. I'd look it up if I were you, but yeah. Man alive. And this is the saddest part of this, I guess, for me, is this is not the first time I've heard a story like this. A few years ago,
right.
I think this was in Milwaukee, too, oddly enough. You know what? Side note here. This is going down a rabbit trail. I apologize. But this is the sort of thing I associate happening in Milwaukee and not Waukesha. So as much as I like to make fun of Waukesha and rag on Waukesha, I don't know that people in Waukesha are quite dumb enough to do this sort of thing. So, point in favor.
You don't want to know the first thing I was thinking, the first neighborhood, because it didn't say the Milwaukee neighborhood. But the first thing I was thinking was definitely this says River West written all over it.
No, I think we're definitely smarter than to do something like this. We would potentially buy something like this at a rummage sale, but not from a truck with a sign on it.
Okay.
I would say that's the main difference here.
Right.
Yeah, and we would have enough people that would kind of band together to go capture whoever it was. That's one thing I like about my neighborhood is
mm-hmm.
We don't agree on everything, but by golly, something goes down, we all back each other up.
Right.
Kind of nice.
Yeah.
But no, I heard a story like this a few years ago where a woman was at a gas station. Somebody said they were selling an iPad for like $200. And she gets home and it's like a piece of cardboard with like a picture of what you traditionally see on the front of an iPad on it. And just like, why are you buying an iPad at a gas station?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not buying it out of a truck with a sign on the side that's, they just put tape on or whatever.
Right.
I don't know. Is it too early to say I've given up on people in general?
Yes. We are sorry to our listeners if this show causes you to lose faith in humanity. Please do not blame Public House Media. Please do not post bad reviews on the Gregg and Dave Show Facebook page for any faith lost in humanity. Well, Dave Show, after that story, we want everyone to know that we don't engage in any false advertising on this show.
Not at all.
We don't engage in any true advertising either, except for advertising of our own network, which is Public House Media, the great Public House Media, which we will hear from some shows and then be back after this commercial break.
We'll just sit here and sing a song that's not in any way like any other song.
Right.
It's completely original, and it's just it's a song about Public House Media.
When I said, what about Public House Media? Said I think I remember the network.
The Gregg and Dave Show will be right back after this.
Hey, it's Baxter Colburn here from Public House Media. Did you know that we just added a store here at Public House Media? No, I'm not talking about a grocery store where you can go buy apples or bananas or peanut butter, which are all fantastic, especially when peanut butter's on all of those. Anyway, we've added a store here at Public House Media so you can not only come and represent your favorite podcast network, but also represent your favorite shows as well, too. Just go over to thepHmedia.com and look in the top right corner where you'll see the button that says Store. Click on that and you can search through all of our great products. Or if you go to our Facebook page, Public House Media, you can see on the left-hand side a tab that says Store. All of our products are listed there as well, too. It's the new Public House Media store. You don't want to miss it. It is fantastic. Buy some of that great swag to support your favorite shows and to support Public House Media. Check it out today.
And now, back to the Gregg and Dave Show. Nobody does it better.
Dave Show, have you been thinking still about marrying that girl from Canada?
Only every waking moment of my existence, the Gregg. So many weeks, and we still have not heard back from her. That was episode 15 that we talked about that. And here we are, episode 26. Haven't heard anything.
Yeah, I've said this on the show before. You don't want to marry a girl from Canada. The orange juice is more expensive in Canada.
Well, I suppose that's why you're not allowed to take oranges into Canada.
Right. Maybe this woman can buy a lot of orange juice with her winnings.
She's a peach, too.
Yeah, she's a peach, too.
We'd be very happy together. She and I and all that orange juice. And all the dead birds. The headline of this story is, she bought her first lottery ticket on her 18th birthday, and now she's set for life.
Wow.
Charlie Lagarde was celebrating her ascent into adulthood, which I hope to do someday soon. Mm-hmm. On her 18th birthday, earlier this month, the Canadian teenager bought a bottle of sparkling wine and a $4 scratch lottery ticket at a nearby convenience store in Quebec. And just like that, her future was off to a very nice start. The Loto Quebec officials said in a statement that after buying her first lottery ticket, Lagarde won the grand prize March 14th in the Winner for Life game. Her first major decision as an adult? The 18-year-old had to decide whether she wanted the $1 million lump sum, which is approximately $773,800 in U.S. money, or $1,000 per week, which comes out to about $773.80 for the rest of her life. Now, the Gregg, I will pose the question to you. If you had the choice, would you take the $1 million lump sum, keeping in mind it is Canadian money, or would you take the $1,000 per week?
You know, I think I would take the lump sum and move somewhere besides Canada.
You would take one large lump sum, then?
Yes, I would.
All right. I gotta admit, I kind of like the idea of the $1,000 per week, just because that's going to keep coming for a while, you know?
But then you have to stay in Canada.
I'm totally cool with that. Although, you know what? It is Quebec, so I guess that does throw a little bit of a monkey wrench in it for me. I mean, I would prefer to be a few other places in Canada.
You'd probably have to learn French. No, there's an English-speaking part of Quebec, isn't there?
Oh, maybe. They're probably shunned by the French-speaking public. However, you know, Gregg, this whole thing does bring up a very interesting question.
Yes.
Charlie Lagarde, will you marry me? Anyway, returning to the story, Lagarde waited a couple weeks to make up her mind, and again, hey, marriage proposal's out there, so, you know, we'll wait to hear back from you on that one, Charlie. Consulting a financial advisor and considering her options, she decided that based on her age, she would accept the lifetime annuity. That's another thing, is she's 18. We are both a little older than 18. We are, as one might say, a more comfortable distance from the apocalypse.
Yes. I like the way you worded that, Dave Show.
Yeah, I forget where I heard that, but I thought that's a good way.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Good way of putting it. The teen said she intends to invest in her education, as well as do some traveling, one of her passions. She goes on to say she wants to study photography and work for National Geographic.
Yeah. I would just tell her not to get a major of English education, because we see how far that's gotten Dave's show in life.
Yep. We certainly do.
Yep.
Mrs. Bale is laughing. You know what? I'm mentioning Mrs. Bale entirely too much in this first segment. I'm gonna put a hand up. I'm gonna put a hand up, Mrs. Bale, so I can't see you.
Okay, I have to say communications too. Don't major in communications or English education.
No, Mrs. Bale, you get the left. You get the left hand here. You see that? That's blocking you out. You get the left because you ain't right.
Taking you way back to episode 4, Dave Show. We've always asked the question on this show, what's in a name?
Indeed.
What is in a name, Dave Show?
Usually letters.
Yes, very good.
And you know, if we're gonna go to the next story, Greg, all the way back to episode 4, let's take a fast mode of transportation.
Oh, like a helicopter?
Not a helicopter. I'm thinking something maybe...
Like a stork?
No, I'm thinking maybe something on the ground.
Oh, okay. Maybe could it be, Dave Show, a train?
You got it!
What do I win?
Oh, my voice went way up when I said that. You win us playing this story from episode 4 again.
Yay!
Yay! The title of this particular item, Trainee McTrainface, Swedish Railway keeps Bodie's legacy alive. Winner of the public vote to name new engine on Stockholm-Gothenburg line echoes UK poll choice for polar research ship. Do you remember the whole Bodie McBoatface thing, Greg? That whole controversy some time ago?
You know, I was looking at this story, and I was like, no, I don't remember Bodie McBoatface, but that was a thing.
Indeed it was. And go ahead and just jump into the article here. A public vote to name 4 trains running between the Swedish cities of Stockholm and Gothenburg has resulted in one of the 4 being called, no, this is not being called Flight 666, to hell, like we talked about last week, or the week before that. I forget which one. I think it was 2 weeks ago. But we're talking instead about Trainee McTrainface, in an echo of the name chosen by the British public for the new polar research vessel. Trainee McTrainface received 49% of the votes in a poll jointly run by Swedish rail company MTR Express and Swedish newspaper Metro.
Which just shows that British people have a good sense of humor.
Indeed. I think everybody in the UK has a pretty good sense of humor. Everybody really in that area. I mean, they got a heavy dose of Monty Python early on. So
I think you're bloody right, Dave.
I am bloody right. There was what else? Spike Milligan, even I think before that, and a lot of good stuff over there. I'm getting the wrong name here. Trainee McTrainface placed well ahead of the other 3 options: Håkan, Miriam, and Poseidon.
As they should.
I love that they would name a train Miriam.
Yes,
yeah.
Miriam.
Miriam, I feel like should have be a train with a moo and like one of those big floppy hats.
Yeah.
So yes, not to pigeonhole everybody named Miriam, but
Right. We've now just offended all the Miriams in our listening audience.
We owe you a beverage of your choice. Miriam's listening in.
Yes.
It goes on to say the other trains have already been named by the public. One is named Estelle, after the 5-year-old daughter of Sweden's Princess Victoria, the next in line to the Swedish throne.
Okay.
So that's kind of nice. All right.
Yeah.
Another is named Glenn, with 2 N's, after a long-running joke that everyone in Gothenburg is called Glenn. This was something I was not aware of. But now this is a stereotype that we can all use and all have fun with.
Right.
And I am thankful for that.
Right.
All right. The joke has... Yes, go ahead.
This reminds me, this public survey or whatever they did, reminds me of a previous public survey that was done here in Waukesha, Wisconsin, where I live, where there was a 3rd high school being built. This was, I would say, mid to late 90s. And they were wondering what should be the name of this 3rd high school in Waukesha. And people, they put it in the local papers, and they said, people were saying all sorts of things. My favorite was, it should be called Homer Simpson High School, because that was back in the Simpsons' dawn of rising popularity. Although, one could argue that The Simpsons have always been popular. But anyway, Homer Simpson High School. I thought that was a strong candidate. But no, what did they name it? West High School. Why even have a survey if you're just going to name it West? Another cardinal direction.
I guess you're hoping that the people of the area will pick something very smart or intelligent. Like, at least if you're going to go with a Simpsons character, maybe you could go with Professor Frink.
Okay.
But, maybe somebody like that. But if you go with Homer, I mean, he's not, shall we say, the brightest bulb in the bunch.
Maybe I should have submitted a vote back in the day for School McHigh School Face.
Yes, that would have gone over really well. So, as soon as we get the flux capacitor on the Gregg and Dave time machine up and running again, we're going to make that happen.
We have to talk to our friend the time traveler.
Absolutely.
Who we talked about in the previous show.
Oh, that poor guy. Ending up in Wyoming. I don't wish that on anybody. So, anyway, going back to the story here. The joke of everybody in Gothenburg being named Glenn, apparently the joke has a basis in fact. Fun little tidbit here. The name is particularly common in the city and its surrounding area, with its popularity stemming from the 80s, when local football team IFK Gothenburg had 4 players all called Glenn in its lineup, and 43% of voters supported the name Glenn.
That's like when I have 5 players named Smith on my fantasy team, which has never happened, by the way, but could happen. Or I think one time I had 2 or 3 players with the last name of Johnson. I was like, Dave, put Johnson in for me. Which one? Okay. So that would be hard for the purposes of Scottish fantasy football, if there is such a thing.
Well, just to wrap this story up, MTR Express said the Boatface decision had led to disappointment worldwide because, of course, Bodie McBoatface won the competition it was in however long ago that was, a few years now, I guess. And then they just decided not to use it because they're jerks. It was hoped that the name Trainee McTrainface would, quote, be received with joy by many, not only in Sweden. And I think we all applaud Sweden for sticking with the actual winner, Trainee McTrainface. Mrs. Bale, can we get an applause from the studio audience? There we go. Okay. By the way, we do have a studio audience here at the Gregg and Dave Show.
We do.
We do. We put them behind a wall and ask them to be quiet.
They're all holding protest signs for some reason.
Oh, is that what those are?
Yeah.
Well, they're in different languages.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's nice. Okay,
I don't know.
You know what? That hand signal is universal, buddy.
Hey, Dave, before we leave the trains in Sweden, can you say ships in Sweden 3 times fast? I dare you to. Ships in Sweden.
Ships in Sweden. Ships in Sweden 3 times fast.
There you go.
Thank you. Pulled it off. Another Gregg and Dave Show challenge executed to perfection.
Well, Dave Show, I dare to say that was good training for the rest of the show.
Oh, the Gregg. That was a stitch. We have just enough time to get into one more story, and I gotta tell you, it's one of my all-time favorites from the show.
Yes.
From episode 16, this one is.
Good things come in mysterious packages.
Yes. And not so good things. Unwelcome things. Kind of like me. We have this lovely story here about chicken feet and a murder. And the title of the article is Bizarre Package of 24 Chicken Feet Wrapped Like a Present Left Outside Beeston House. We're starting with a mystery this week.
Dave Show, this story already makes me want to go WTF, which we won't translate for our listeners out there because we are a G-rated show.
I'll say it. It stands for What the Chicken Feet.
Yes, what the feet.
What the feet. We might have the title for this week's episode. There you go. Mystery surrounds the reason why a box of frozen chicken feet wrapped up in a box, like a present, was left outside a Beeston house. The box, which contained around 24 feet, was left outside a property in Meadow Road, Beeston Rylands, on Saturday evening, March 25th. Could I get some scary music, Mrs. Bale? That'd be great. It was left outside the house of 6 University of Nottingham students and was initially spotted by Hannah Broadbent, 25, who studies psychology. She saw it in the early hours of Sunday morning after picking up a friend from the hospital, and the rest of the students woke up to the bizarre package. And they have a picture here of the box with kind of a light blue, I guess, with multicolored stars all around it. And and those are chicken feet in there.
Did she scream? Did the story say if she screamed or not?
I'm going to take a wild guess and say probably, but...
Yeah, because I would have screamed.
Nonetheless, we shall, let's find out here. Rosa Lavelle Hill, 25, a psychology student who lives there, said, "The irony is, we were in doing a murder mystery night. We were all dressed up in character trying to guess the murder. We were all a bit freaked out. She, Hannah Broadbent, sent us a message via text when she got in about the chicken feet." And then they've got a nice little picture of the murder mystery thing, including, people, somebody wearing a nice ascot and somebody dressed up fancy. Somebody's got a kind of a drawn-on goatee, and one guy wearing a blue feather boa and a long-haired blonde wig. Not really suiting for him, if I'm honest, but nonetheless.
Does the story mention that these people were intoxicated? Because I can see to a bunch of drunk people, chicken feet is, something that they could disguise as chicken feet, could be really something else. But it doesn't say, does it?
I'm seeing in this picture of the group at least 6 glasses and 1 bottle.
Okay.
So take from that what you will. The story continues. "We all woke up to it in the morning. We chucked them away because they were left there for a while." Well, yeah, you leave chicken feet sitting out. I mean, that's kind of... Why did you leave them sitting out? I mean, at least get rid of them right away or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Rosa said she was shocked. Shocked, the Gregg.
Shocked.
And they do not know who could be behind it, but they have been speculating. A note was left in the box saying 10 p.m. Rosa added, "It was very shocking. Shocking, the Gregg.
Shocking.
I actually thought they were squids at first. I had never seen chicken feet."
Now, call me blind, but how do you mistake squids for chicken feet?
I don't know, I guess the chicken feet are rather rubbery.
Okay, and squids are rather rubbery.
Yeah, I guess I could kind of see it. I guess squids I would think would be a little darker. I can't think if I've seen a squid up close in quite some time. But then again, maybe she's not a fan of seafood.
Right.
They continued. "They were so white and rubbery. They were in a bright colored cardboard box. We thought it was our housemate's brother."
Of course, blame it on the brother.
Yeah, blame it on the prankster brother, of course. And still decent chance it was him if you ask me. But
right,
anyway.
Right.
"Sarah thought it was the Chinese getting the wrong house." That sounds a little bit racist, but we'll continue. "We thought Hannah might have an admirer. We have not had anything since, thank God."
This is mysterious. This is all very mysterious.
This is it's a little creepy. They've got a close-up now of the box with the chicken feet. It looks like there's a napkin or something in there. And 10 p.m. I guess that's what that says there. It's kind of crudely drawn in pen. So, yeah.
Wow. That is crazy. Dave Show, have you ever eaten anything remotely close to chicken feet?
I think the rest of the chicken is about as close as I've gotten.
Yeah.
Except for maybe the head.
Me too. Yeah.
Well, there's more, the Gregg, if we want to delve into this a little bit further.
Okay.
James Harkin, 23, a physics student, plus Sarah Madison, 24, Luke Holden, 25, and Craig Scott, 25, all psychology students, also live at the house. James said they were in a present box. That was the worst thing. We thought it was a prank at first, but we checked everyone, and it can't be anyone we know.
This sounds like an episode of The Big Bang Theory gone wrong.
This sounds like a really lame board game to me. And I say that primarily because they're all psychology students. You gotta have a little bit of diversity.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, if you add a little diversity, bang, you got something here. You got a game like Deception Murder in Hong Kong, and you're off and running. Chicken feet the game.
This is also making me think about my last experience at KFC, which was not too excellent, might I add.
Mm-hmm. No longer a sponsor of this show.
Right. Sorry, KFC.
I like KFC just fine, for the record. I just forget there. The story wraps up. Someone thought it was a threat, but chicken is a weird threat. Oh, you don't say. The students said the bin men later took away the feet. So we have closure.
Okay.
Thankfully.
Yeah.
I really want to know more about where those chicken feet came from, Gregg, but it's sounding to me like we simply will never know.
Best of bonus. Wow. And before we go, a word from our friendly robot. Not calling you a robot, of course, Dave Show.
No, but as sort of a little bit of a bonus to those of our friends who have listened to this entire podcast, listening to us say things that we've said before, and surviving this long, I think they deserve a little extra something. There was a piece in the news recently about a gentleman who created a bot and forced it to watch hours upon hours of Olive Garden commercials so that it would create the ultimate Olive Garden commercial. And I would like to now offer my dramatic interpretation of said Olive Garden commercial.
Why am I clearing my throat? You're the one reading this.
I don't know. I thought that was strange myself. But... Interior, Olive Garden restaurant. A group of friends laughs at a dinner table. A waitress comes to deliver what could be considered food.
Pasta nachos for you.
We see the pasta nachos. They're warm and defeated. The menu is here.
Lasagna wings with extra Italy.
We see the lasagna wings. There is more Italy than necessary. I shall eat Italian citizens.
Unlimited stick.
We see the unlimited stick. It is infinite. It is all.
Leave without me. I'm home. Gluten Classico from the kitchen.
We, the Gluten Classico, we believe the waitress that it is from the kitchen. We have no reason not to believe. Friend 4 says nothing. What is wrong, Friend 4? Friend 4 says nothing. Friend 4, what is wrong, Friend 4? Friend 4 smiles wide. Her mouth is full of secret soup. Announcer, in a wet voice. Olive Garden, when you're here, you're here. Thank you.
That was great, Dave Show.
How does one speak in a wet voice? I don't know where that came from.
What is that about?
There you go. Thanks to @KeatonPatty for that on Twitter.
Thanks for putting up with us. We do want to give a shout out to those of you who have been our day ones since the beginning of the Gregg and Dave Show. And those of you who just started listening too. We promise to have more content like this yet to come.
Yes, much thanks to those of you out there listening in who are warm and defeated yourself and have extra Italy. Not so much for those of you who eat Italian citizens, but nonetheless. Thanks to Kevin MacLeod for Alien Restaurant, which you just heard a moment ago. Yes, it's always a jaunty time here on the Gregg and Dave Show with the lovely and talented Mrs. Bale.
Yes, can't forget about Mrs. Bale. She does so much.
You know what? I think as a bonus too, we should have Mrs. Bale come over here and say something. Mrs. Bale, can you got a mic there? Can you turn that on? Yeah, say something, Mrs. Bale. There you go, ladies and gentlemen.
Yep.
Voice of Mrs. Bale.
And with that, we will end the show for today. Tune in again next week when we'll have a new episode of the Gregg and Dave Show right here on Public House Media. Because fun is spelled P-H-N.
You've been listening to The Gregg and Dave Show. The Gregg and Dave Show theme is Take a Chance by Kevin MacLeod of Incompetech.com.
When I said, what about public house media? Said, I think I remember the network.